Welcome to an interview in history. Imagine a podcast that serves as a bridge across time, connecting listeners to the voices of history's most impactful figures. Each episode is a deep dive into the lives and legacies of these individuals, exploring not just their well-documented achievements, but also uncovering lesser-known facts that shaped their contributions to our world. From scientists who unlocked the mysteries of the universe to activists who fought for social change, each story is a testament to the indelible mark they left on society. This journey through history will not only educate, but also inspire listeners to appreciate the intricate tapestry of human progress. Hi, I'm Steve Burig, host of An Interview in History. This week we're talking with John Henry Holliday, better known as Doc Holliday. He was an American dentist, gambler, and gunfighter who was a close friend and associate of lawman Wyatt Earp. Holliday is best known for his role in the events surrounding and his participation in the gunfight at the OK Corral in Tombstone, Arizona. He developed a reputation as having killed more than a dozen men in various altercations, but modern-day researchers have concluded that, contrary to popular myth-making, Holliday killed only 1 to 3 men. This interview takes place January 21st, 1886. Hello, Mr. Holliday, and thank you for joining us today.
The pleasure is mine, but please just call me Doc. You'll have to pardon my voice. I've never been a strong man, and I do have a bit of a cough.
Understood. Let's start from the beginning. Could you tell us about your childhood?
I was born John Henry Holliday on August 14th, 1851 in Griffin, Georgia. My father, Henry Burroughs Holliday, was a military man, a major in the Confederate Army during the Civil War. My mother, Alice Jane McKee, was a refined gentlewoman. She raised me to appreciate literature and the finer arts. My childhood was quite normal, though marked by tragedy. My mother passed from tuberculosis when I was 15, a loss that deeply affected me. Not long after, my father remarried rather quickly, which caused some tension between us.
Did you have any siblings?
I did, though most don't know that. I had an older sister, Martha, but she died before I was born. So I grew up an only child in many ways, but her absence was part of the family's grief.
How about your education? What inspired you to become a dentist?
Education was important to my family. After finishing primary schooling, I attended the Pennsylvania College of Dental Surgery in Philadelphia. It wasn't an easy decision, but dentistry seemed a respectable career, and I had a steady hand for the work. I graduated in 1872 at the age of 21 and returned to Georgia to begin practicing. For a time, I felt a sense of accomplishment, doing something meaningful.
Did you enjoy the work?
I did. Dentistry is meticulous, almost artistic. I appreciated the challenge of repairing something broken. But fate, as always, had other plans.
What do you mean?
Shortly after I began practicing, I was diagnosed with tuberculosis, the same illness that took my mother. The doctors said the climate in Georgia would worsen my condition, so I sought the dry air of the West. It was meant to prolong my life.
And that's when your life took a dramatic turn?
Precisely. I moved to Dallas, Texas in 1873. I tried to continue my dental practice, but my coughing fits made it difficult. Patients don't want a dentist who's spitting blood. To make ends meet, I turned to gambling, which was a skill I'd picked up in my younger years. It wasn't the profession my family envisioned, but it kept me afloat.
Well, then let's talk about your personal life. Were there any significant relationships or children?
I never married, though I was close to a woman named Mary Catherine Haroni. Most people knew her as Big Nose Kate. She was fiery, independent, and loyal in her own way. We had an off-again, on-again relationship, filled with passion and arguments. As for children, no, I had none. Perhaps it's for the best. My life wasn't one to bring stability to a family.
So then one of the most famous events you were involved in was the gunfight at OK Corral. Can you tell us about it?
Yes. October 26, 1881, in Tombstone, Arizona. I stood alongside my friend Wyatt Earp and his brothers Virgil and Morgan. We faced off against the Clintons and McLaury boys. Tensions had been building for months. The fight lasted mere seconds, but it left 3 men dead and forever etched our names in history. It wasn't something I gloried in, but I was loyal to Wyatt and the cause of justice, or at least our version of it.
What was the conflict leading up to the gunfight?
The cowboys, particularly Ike Clanton and his ilk, and like I said, trouble had been stirring for months. Cattle rustling, stagecoach robberies, you name it. The Earps, being lawmen or close enough to it, aimed to put a stop to their lawlessness. That morning, Ike had been running his mouth around town, threatening the Earps and, by extension, me. By the time afternoon rolled around, tensions boiled over.
Well, then what happened when you confronted them?
The Clantons and McLaurys were gathered near the OK Corral, armed and defiant. Virgil, the acting city marshal, went to disarm them. The Earps and I approached with the intent of keeping the peace, though I'll admit none of us were strangers to the likelihood of violence. The air was thick with the kind of tension that can stop a man's breath. Words were exchanged, and soon after, the lead was flying.
Accounts vary on who fired the first shot. Can you clarify that?
If you're looking for a precise account, I couldn't say with certainty. Chaos has a way of scrambling the senses. Some say it was me who fired first, and I won't deny I was ready and willing. When you see a man reaching for his gun, you don't wait to ask for his intentions.
What was your mindset during the fight?
Survival, pure and simple. I wasn't looking to die in the dirt that day, though I reckon I've lived with death at my shoulder most of my life. My tuberculosis has seen to that. But if I was going down, I intended to take a few of them with me.
The fight lasted only 30 seconds. So then what was the outcome?
When the dust settled, 3 of theirs were dead. Billy Clanton and the McLaury brothers. Virgil and Morgan were wounded, and I came out with a graze. Ike Clanton ran off, true to his nature. Cowards and braggarts rarely make a stand when it comes to it.
How did the town react to the aftermath?
Reactions were mixed. Some folks saw us as heroes standing against lawlessness, while others thought we were just as bloodthirsty as the cowboys. Tombstone's a town of divided loyalties, you see.
Do you have any regrets about your involvement?
None. Regret is a luxury for men who expect to live long enough to dwell on it. I did what I thought was right, stood by my friend, and faced what came my way. That's all a man can do.
Wyatt Earp was a close friend of yours, wasn't he?
He was the best friend I ever had. Wyatt stood by me when others wouldn't, even when my reputation preceded me. We shared a bond built on loyalty and mutual respect. I'd have done anything for him, and he for me. What about your later years? Well, my health has deteriorated significantly. I'm heading to Glenwood Springs, Colorado, seeking the healing waters of the hot springs. Looking back, how do you feel about your legacy? I suppose I've become something of a legend, though I never sought fame. I was just a man trying to survive in a world that wasn't kind to me. If people remember me, I hope they see me as loyal, flawed, and human. Thank you for sharing your story, Doc. My pleasure. Now, if you'll excuse me, I believe there's a poker game and a drink calling my name. In 1887, prematurely gray and badly ailing, Doc made his way to the Hotel Glenwood, near the hot springs of Glenwood Springs, Colorado. He hoped to take advantage of the reputed curative powers of the waters, but the sulfurous fumes from the spring might have done his lungs more harm than good. As he lay dying, Holliday is reported to have asked the nurse attending him for a shot of whiskey. When she told him no, he looked at his bootless feet amused. The nurses said that his last words were, "This is funny." He always figured he would be killed someday with his boots on. Holliday died at 10 a.m. on November 8, 1887. He was 36. Wyatt Earp did not learn of Holliday's death until 2 months afterward. Kate Heroni later said that she attended to him in his final days. He died from tuberculosis. Holliday had been baptized in the Catholic Church. This was based on correspondence written between Holliday and his cousin, Sister Mary Melanie, a Catholic nun. No baptismal record has been found in either St. Stephen's Catholic Church in Glenwood Springs or at the Annunciation Catholic Church in nearby Leadville. At the end of his life, Holliday had struck up friendships with both a Catholic priest, Father E.T. Downey, and a Presbyterian minister, Reverend W.S. Randolph, in Glenwood Springs. When he died, Father Downey was out of town, and so Reverend Randolph presided over the burial at 4 p.m. on the same day that Holliday died. The services were reportedly attended by many friends. Holliday is buried in Linwood Cemetery overlooking Glenwood Springs. And now, another forgotten history. In 1877, Deadwood, South Dakota was a bustling mining town in the Black Hills, driven by the gold rush. The influx of prospectors and entrepreneurs transformed it into a lively community with streets lined with saloons, hotels, and shops. This rapid expansion attracted a diverse mix of miners, gamblers, and adventurers, all seeking fortune and contributing to the town's vibrant yet unruly atmosphere. Notable figures of Deadwood during this era included Wild Bill Hickok, the famed lawman and gunslinger, Calamity Jane, a bold frontierswoman known for her daring exploits, and Seth Bullock, a respected sheriff and businessman. These characters, among others, played significant roles in shaping the town's colorful history, leaving behind stories that became integral to its legacy. Deadwood's reputation as a wild frontier town stemmed from its booming economy and its lawless, rugged character. Despite the challenges and dangers, the town thrived, cementing its place in the lore of the American West. The tales of its residents, both renowned and obscure, continued to fascinate those interested in the history of the Black Hills and the spirit of the frontier. Join us next week when we talk with Sir Winston Churchill, a British statesman, military officer, and Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Until then, take care.